Heyo everybody, Haku here, and if this looks a bit different from the way a lot of my other videos look, it's because I am recording with something different, and I think with what I am recording with here, I can actually put pictures and stuff above what I'm talking about, so you can see what I'm talking about here and there as I'm talking about it. I'm going to be trying to do it more and more just to test it out, and this is the actual first video I'm recording with it, so we will see how this video turns out, won't we? But in this I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the new starters and the new legendaries for Pokemon Sun and Moon that were announced the other day. I had planned to make this video when it first came out, but I had a bunch of other videos backed up that I wanted to get out sort of before this one, so this one had to be pushed back until now. But I think I have a good theory as well, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with that theory before getting into my thoughts on each one specifically and what we know of them specifically. And this theory, after seeing all three, and I'll say that I think all three have great designs. I really like these designs this generation. They seem a bit simplistic, but in a good way. They seem simplistic in sort of the way that the first one or two generations were. It reminds me a lot of the first two generations, the way the designs look, which I like. I think that's a good thing in my opinion. But I really don't know which I'll choose. I'll really have to see the evolutions. Right now I think I may be leaning toward Team Leo, but that can certainly change when we see the evolutions. So first off, I want to say the theory. I keep getting distracted. My theory is that each of these three, from the way they look so far and from their descriptions, I think that they are going to be based on circus performers, or like that sort of exotic performer. And for why, when I go over each starter one by one and what we know of them, I'll go into depth of what I mean by how I think this is going to happen and my predictions for what their evolutions will be like. First off, just before I start, just my general thoughts of what I think they're based on. I think that, like last time, we had a mage, a ninja, and a what was it? A mage, a ninja, and a knight were Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. So they had that theme going on. For this, I think that Rowlett is going to be like a magician or ringmaster. I think that Lytton is going to be like a fire breather. What is it? The fire eater, fire breather performer, or a sort of like a show lion or show tiger. And I think that Leo will be like an acrobat or clown, because he's obviously already like a show sea lion. And I think that they're going to elaborate further and sort of have him based on like a clown or acrobat theme. Some general thoughts on the game itself. We now know that it's called the Alola region, and it is most certainly got to be based on Hawaii. I have seen a map comparison where people have said that it's going to be based on Oahu specifically. We don't know if that's the entire region though, so it might be nice to go from island to island, but it does worry me that IGN too much water. It does worry me that we may get a little bit too much water, that there are just going to be water types everywhere. Also, it appears that character customization is back. All three starters, they all get the normal starter, what is it, Overgrow, Blaze, and Torrent abilities. And they also all start out, and I disagree with this because I really think that people have been saying that the Pokemon games are getting easier and easier, and they're getting way too easy, and that X and Y was like the easiest one yet. And yet here we are making things easier by having all three start with an elemental move. I think it's Water Gun. Is it Water Gun? I think Leo starts with Water Gun, Lytton starts with Ember, and Rowlett is going to start with a move called Leafage, I believe it's called, where it's just sort of a basic grass type move. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. First up is our cute little grass flying owl, Rowlett, and I absolutely love Rowlett. It's kind of hard to not choose him, so definitely if he has a good evolution, I may be switching to Team Rowlett. But we know so far that, like I said, Rowlett is starting with the move Leafage. His ability is going to be Overgrow, which is going to power up the leaf type or grass type moves in an emergency. So we found out that he has night vision, he flies silently, he has razor sharp leaves as part of his feathers, and that he can turn his head 180 degrees to listen to his trainer's command. I absolutely love that. And a lot of things like that. So there is a lot of cool stuff with Rowlett, but I do think that personally he may be a bit overused, so I may not use him because so many other people are. That's a dumb reason, but like I said, it all depends on what the evolutions look like. Now, if you can see from the picture right here in this corner, right there, you can see that he looks like he has sort of a little bow tie, a little suit, maybe a mask. So I think 100%, as he evolves, he could take on a magician theme. I would not even put it past Pokemon naming. If we had Pokemon named Clink, Clang, and Kling Clang, I could totally see him evolving into a Pokemon named Houdini. I could 100%. I'm going to, in fact, call it now. I'm just going to call that I think he's going to evolve into Houdini, which could be a potential future grass psychic. Or he could always just keep the grass flying. So that's my predictions on how he fits into the performer thing. These could be a ringleader or possibly a magician, maybe even Houdini as an evolution. And that I think he's either going to keep the grass flying or potentially even become grass psychic. Next up is the Fire Cat Pokemon Lytton, and I absolutely love it. It's a Fire Cat. How could you not love it? But I like especially the way like the fur on its back spikes up when it uses a move. It's going to know Ember from start and have Blaze as its ability, like a normal fire starter. Or, well, normal ones wouldn't know Ember from start, but this one's going to know Ember from the beginning. I actually don't remember if the Pokemon knew their elemental moves from the beginning or not in X and Y. I don't even remember. So I may have overstated that by saying it's making things even easier, because it could have already been like that in X and Y, and I'm just not remembering. But it says that it's sort of cool, calm, sophisticated, stuff like that, and it doesn't show its emotions on the outside. And the entry also says that its fur is covered in oil that is very, very flammable, and that's what it uses to spit out flaming fur balls. Now that definitely leads into where I think it's going to be like, again, the circus performer theme of maybe a fire breather. And the sort of fire breather shows are very common in Hawaii, where the region is going to be based on. But a couple of the reasons I think that, I mean, show lions and show tigers, whether it becomes a tiger or a lion, they jump through hoops. They jump through flaming hoops, and somebody brought it up because I mentioned this in the comments somewhere else, my theory, and somebody had brought up, they were like, remember the one from the third Madagascar movie, the one about the circus, where the lion jumped through the hoops by putting like oil on its fur? And I was like, okay, that's cool to note. And also cool to note, I mean, they use the oils and stuff in the fire breather shows. I already talked about the fire breather stuff. So between a fire breather and a show lion, a show tiger, I think that it will, again, still follow the sort of circus performer theme of these three starters. I'm totally convinced of this theory. As for what the future evolutions will look like or what types they may be, I could definitely see Fire Dark or possibly Fire Poison because of the stuff on its fur, the oil on its fur. And if it is Fire Poison, I'm going all the way. I am going in for Lytton, like Lytton all the way if it's Fire Poison. So that's what I think it is. As for what it looks like, hopefully it won't look like Perugly. I think Lytton, I'm not 100%. I don't like Lytton that much right now because I do think that it reminds me a little bit too much of the Litleo and Pyroar family, which I really didn't like in Gen 6. And we just had that in Gen 6. And it also reminds me a bit of, what was it? We have cat Pokemon every region. That's what it is. We have a cat Pokemon every single region. So, my thoughts on it are a little bit mixed right now, but if it has that Fire Poison evolution, my thoughts are going to be 100% on Lytton. So as for what it looks like physically, hopefully it won't look anything like Perugly, but I personally think, I'm not sure if they'll go full lion or full tiger look, because we just did have the Litleo and Pyroar. So they could go tiger. I think that'd be very interesting. Magicians do have show tigers, and show tigers do perform in circuses, of course. So it could definitely be a show tiger and still keep the fire breathing aspect. Fire and tiger is a really cool combo together. And I think that it may get a sort of sleeker look to it. That it might look sort of like, imagine a combination between Persian and Liepard. Something like that, like a fiery version of that with maybe a little bit of Luxray thrown in. Like if it was like a fire version of Luxray, I think that would be very, very cool. And now here we are, my boy, Team Popplio. Like, when I first saw the trailer, I absolutely thought Popplio was like, I was like, okay, I like the owl. The cat's pretty cool, but what is up with that stupid looking seal? But now we find out it's the sea lion Pokemon, knows water gun from the start. And I just, a few hours later even, I was like, okay, that thing's adorable. I freaking love it. Like, I love Popplio now just because it's so weird and off kilter. I just kind of, it's so awkward and goofy. I really love it, and I like it too because I could imagine it having some like really badass evolutions. So I'm kind of liking it for right now. I think as far as my theory goes that they're all going to be circus performers, we can already see where its evolutions could be very much like a clown, though they could throw some acrobat stuff in there as well, because its profile says that it uses like balloons of water that it snorts out to perform acrobatic stunts, and that it moves a lot better in water than on land, but it does all those acrobatic stunts using the water while on land. So I think that's very interesting. It also says that it's like determined and hardworking. So I'm just in love with it. I've fallen in love with it. It is so cute. I freaking love Popplio. So I am Team Popplio right now. I may have to change my mind if we get that fire poison type. But yeah. As for a second typing for the evolutions, like I said, I think the evolutions will just look like maybe clowns or something. This could go a lot of ways. I'm thinking, if it has a second typing, I'm thinking maybe fairy. Yeah. I'm thinking fairy or maybe psychic. Fairy or psychic. Probably fairy. Now, why I'm saying probably fairy, I think that if we did fairy, psychic, and dark, that would be interesting. Or even fairy, psychic, and poison. They all like if we had Rowlett with psychic type, and we had dark or poison, and then we had fairy, they sort of have relationships with each other. So I think that'd be very interesting. Or if they're completely unrelated and we do flying and then poison, and then maybe just, I hope it's not pure water, but I also don't really want it to be water ice, because we've already had 2 seal related Pokemon that were water ice. So honestly, for him, I'm kind of hoping for a fairy secondary typing at this point. We might get something even cooler than that, but I'm hoping for just not ice. I don't want it to be pure water because we have way too many pure water starters, and I also don't want it to be water ice because water ice is just so generic. Next up, we have Solga Leo, and look at this absolute freaking beast. Solga Leo is so hype. A lion for the Sun Legendary was an amazing choice. I freaking love this. I love the little third eye on its forehead, and just, it is so powerful looking. This is one of the hypest and most powerful legendaries that I've seen in a while, and I am so happy that we just do not have dragons again. dragons as legendaries are something that I am so tired of, because it seems like we just keep getting dragon after dragon. But last generation did a little bit to help us out with that, and this generation's doing the same. Lion legendary. I am just so hyped for this. Solga Leo is, oh man, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. As for some type guessing, I'm gonna guess that its primary type is fire. That seems like the safe choice. As for a secondary type, that's a difficult one. Just looking at it, I could say I don't think it's fire steel. Maybe fire rock, because look at its paws and its sides and the little notch at the end of its tail. If it's fire rock, that would be a sort of weird, interesting one, I think. Also, if it was firefighting, I am sick of firefighting Pokemon. Well, that sounds weird. But I'm sick of that dual type, but it sadly looks like it could potentially be fire and fighting. I could definitely see that. I don't know. I think those two seem to be the most likely, but potentially maybe Fire Fairy. I think it could be like just a badass beast of a fairy. I could maybe see Fire Fairy. Or it could just be pure fire and I could be way off base with this. So I guess tell me down there what you think of him. And now the hypest part for me, the absolute hypest, freaking Lunala. Lunala, look at it. It is so cool looking. And it's so cute too. Look at his cute little face. I never thought I'd call a legendary cute, but it's friggin' adorable. I love this. I love bats. I think bats are really cool. And I think lions are really cool too. But I've seen so many people saying I was Team Moon, now I'm Team Sun. I was Team Sun all the way. But now after seeing Lunala, I hope you can catch both in Sun. But I might have to switch to Team Moon because Lunala looks so fucking cool. Look at that. I really love this legendary. I freaked out about this one. Oh my gosh, its wings, it's just so freaking cool. As for like type combos, I'm really thinking Psychic. It looks really Psychic to me, more than Dark. Me, it looks more Psychic than Dark. I don't think it's going to have Fairy. It could always have Fairy, but I don't think it's going to. For me, Dragon is a possibility as a second type, but I'm hoping it's not Dragon. I think the most likely secondary type is either Dark or Flying. Dark, I don't think, because we just had Hoopa that was Psychic Dark, right? So, or was that Ghost Psychic or Ghost Dark? I don't even remember. Oh well, so it could always be Psychic Dark, but I think that my personal bet right this moment, I'm going to say Psychic Flying. I know we've already had a Psychic Flying legendary in, in Lugia, but personally, I'm leaning towards Psychic Flying. And Lunala's so hype. It was the hypest part of this entire thing for me. And I'm just gonna, because I'm so hype, I'm gonna leave them up here while I finish out the video by telling you guys to like if you did like this video, and just, I guess, comment down there what you think of these legendaries, what you think of the starters, and what you think of my theory on all of them. I really do appreciate it. I really believe in the theory too with those starters, so I'm really excited to see the evolutions and see if I was on base at all. So subscribe as well if you want for more Pokemon, both discussions and news updates like this, as well as some gameplay. And for reviews and discussions of other stuff as well, like One Piece, Tower of God, The Walking Dead, and a lot more stuff. And gosh, what else? I guess that's it. Just follow on Twitter if you want updates on when I'm posting stuff or pushing stuff back. I carried on with too long for that. So I'll thank you all one last time and say see you all in the next video.